All right, everybody, welcome out to the Log Room Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, October the 11th, 2022. Jersey Johnny coming at you. And with me, as always, is none other than Mr. Beer Samurai. Say hello, Mr. Samurai.
Hello, everybody.
How are you today?
It's been a busy kind of crappy day, but hey, let's forget that and let's move on because it's National Sausage Pizza Day.
Happy National Sausage Pizza Day. And what is that you're eating there?
This is a a sausage pizza.
That's a National Sausage Pizza? Is that it? Well, you know what? I figured I'd join you.
What'd you get there?
It's frozen, but it works. Well, it's cooked now.
Is it Del Giorno?
No, it's not Del Giorno.
Oh.
It's got to go back to youth. Go back to youth. What do you think?
Go back to the youth.
Go back to youth. Go back to, what kind of pizza did you want?
Oh, those rectangles.
Those rectangles, right.
Elio's
right there. Elio's sausage.
Yeah, but Elio's is not nearly as good as it used to be.
No, it's not. It's not even close to what it used to be. Now, whether that's a little bit of us and our nostalgia remembering it being better, because it could be a little bit of that, but no, it definitely is not as good as it was. But here, I was going to join you. I was going to get a slice of sausage pizza, but I would have had to get it about 3.5 hours earlier. So I would have been sitting around, and then I had to reheat it, and I didn't want to. I'm like, you know what?
There's good methodologies to reheating.
This is true, but I had to happen to stop at the ShopRite, and I happened to walk down the frozen food aisle, and I saw.
Oh, you should stay away from there.
You
could melt all that stuff.
I could. I'm that hot.
You're that hot.
Where's the arugula?
Oh, the vegetable?
It's the vegetable. Anyway, 2 My Blue Heaven references in one sentence. Yes. Look at that. Anyway, gotta love it. Anyway, I saw that and I'm like, you know what? Perfect. I can get it. I can have one. And I can have the rest in the freezer for, a quick snack when I need it or whatever. So, and then I did it. So there you go. There's my pizza. So happy National Sausage Pizza.
Yes. Now, here's the question. I think we've asked this on the show before. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anybody's ever chimed in on it.
What's that?
But so this is from Benny Tadino's.
Mm-hmm.
Where are they? Jersey City?
Jersey City, Hoboken.
Anyway, I did not get the massive pie. I don't think they even deliver that.
Maybe they're delivering it right now in that car.
Yes, they've got a police escort.
Mm-hmm.
But Benny Tadino's uses the slices of sausage. I said on the show before, I like the chunks of sausage.
I like the ground sausage meat just in chunks all over the pie. Yeah.
Yep, that's the way I like it.
And ironically, this is what's on this.
little chunks.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not ironic. That's fortuitous.
It's fortuitous.
So it is fortuitous.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. So, what the hell's going on in Union City there tonight?
Oh, I don't know. Someone may have stubbed their toe. There's between the fire engines and the cops. It's the beautiful weather to sleep with the windows open, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, not here.
Yeah,
you can't sleep because it could be 3 a.m, not a car on the road, and they will the fire trucks, the police cars will run their sirens from the time they get in the car to the time they get on scene.
And there it is, right there.
Yep, and you can hear them. This would be the fire department because they're coming up 43rd. So the other end of 43rd is where the fire department is. This is just going to get louder before
it literally sounds like a parade right now. There's that many. I mean, it's been going on for
Yeah, no, this is one truck. There it goes. There was truck 514.
Mm-hmm.
Bye, boys. Be safe, though. Be safe.
Well,
take it a little easy on the damn siren, but be safe.
I get it, especially this hour of night. You always got to use the sirens, right? As a former firefighter,
the traffic lights.
Traffic lights. You pull out of the firehouse. You pull out of firehouse. You got that siren on. And you don't have just that siren on. You got the electronic siren on. You got the wind-up siren on. You're hitting the air horn. You're getting people the hell out of your way, right? Yeah. So I get what they're doing right now. But 3 o'clock in the morning when no one's on the road, I can't remember once ever driving a fire truck at 3 o'clock in the morning and putting on a siren. Yeah, if you had to, you hit the wind up or you hit the air horn. You
And
know?
last night it was actually the police, and it was like, I don't know if it was 3 different police cars
Mhm.
or they're chasing a guy in a circle.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think a white Bronco out there just slowly going around while the police follow behind him.
This is true too. Well, you know what? I mean, in all fairness to them, any fire truck driving at 3:00 in the morning I did was in a suburb, right? Wasn't in a city, was in a suburb. So I can't speak to protocol in a city. So
Yeah.
Anyway,
Still,
on that note, as Tom says, I digress.
Well, that's at the beginning of the show is one huge digression.
Exactly.
We have another. What was the other day to celebrate today? Oh,
it's also Happy National Food Truck Day.
Those things that New Jersey breweries cannot have outside their brewery.
They
can have them outside the brewery as long as it's not on their property.
And they can't coordinate with them.
Right.
Cannot coordinate.
So they can't advertise for them. They can't have the menu inside.
They can't ask them to show up.
Nope.
None of that.
So if they can't ask them to show up, what's keeping, like, say, 5 food trucks of just flooding Icarus's parking lot?
Nothing. Well, they can't be in Icarus's parking lot.
But it's not the brewery's property. They can't.
But it's the property it's part of the property that the brewery rents. That's what they're saying. They
So
can be out on the street.
Oh, they've thrown that in the ruling now.
They can be out on the street.
So they can be in the street. So they can line that whole street.
Sure.
That's good to know.
Exactly.
I think I'm gonna get myself a food truck and just tour the breweries.
There you go. Right.
Just park on the streets outside the breweries, and you're good.
Right. They shut it off.
No, they didn't shut it off. They just got far enough away.
It sounded like it was an abrupt shut off. So
they may have turned a corner, and the building may have blocked.
Maybe. It's also something else. You did say it was also Kraken Day, right?
Oh yes, release the Kraken. I had a guy I work with. Actually, just saw him recently at
he released
the Kraken. Every now and then, we'd be either in a meeting or at lunch, and he would just exclaim, "Release the Kraken!"
There you go.
We had a lot of fun back in those days. I had there's one guy who worked with us. He was a Marine, a retired Marine. There's no such thing as an ex-Marine. They're always Marines.
You're always a Marine.
Always a Marine.
Once a Marine, always a Marine. Once a firefighter, always a firefighter.
And I think I've told you this
police
story.
officer, always a police officer. So.
What I would do to him is kind of cruel and unusual, but it was hilarious. Just out of nowhere, I just go, "Marine, first rule of order!" And he'd stand up at the side of the table at attention and start reciting the first rule of order. Get about 7 words in, stop looking at me, goes, "You're such a fucking asshole."
It's just
programmed.
So you know what? Don't recite what it is. I have a feeling that there is a Marine watching right now. So Marine, if I'm correct, please comment in the first rule of order.
First 7 words.
First 7 words of the first rule of order. There you go.
And then you can go ... You're a fucking asshole if you'd like.
You can say that if you'd like to. Yeah.
For all your brothers, you can call me that for all of your brothers.
Exactly.
Semper Fi. Semper Fi.
All right. So look at it this way. Tonight we have.
It's also National Coming Out Day. I didn't tell you that one.
I guess you didn't. You didn't come out with that one.
No, I didn't come out with that one.
I
didn't fail.
All right. Well, on that note,
there he is.
All right. There he is. Oh, here it is. He said, well, that's not
not the Marine you were talking about.
It's not the Marine I was talking about, but it's another Marine.
So Doug just came out as a Marine.
Yeah. I was in the Marines. That's 5 words. That's not the first 5 words of the.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. All right. So while we wait for that, let's announce what the show is now that we're almost 10 minutes in. Okay.
It's tonight, a show about sausage pizza.
It's a show about. No. It's just the 2 of us. We've done them from time to time. We Dave and I have gone up on
this one's actually scheduled.
It's a scheduled one.
It's because we either couldn't get a guest or the guest canceled us.
Canceled, and we couldn't. And Tom was busy, or Tony was busy, or Matt was busy, and there you go. So we got a little music for it tonight, though, too.
Oh, wait a second. Do you have? Are we gonna get sued?
No, it's a karaoke version. So.
Gotcha.
So just put it down.
We can make it if we try.
I think we started because we got to get one. We got to do this. We actually have to use this. We have to just the two of us, right? We can talk beer, just the two of us, right?
We can.
We can do that. We got to do that.
We don't even need to try.
We don't. We don't even need to try. Thank you.
No, we don't.
There you go.
But it says beer trip chat because not this past weekend, the weekend prior, you can probably get an idea where John went by his garb. You can probably get an idea where I went by my garb if you know the logo. The brewery that John was at is spelt right out on his chest.
Right. Well, it was one of the 7 breweries I was at. In fact, it was the last of the 7 that I was at. So that would be Trace Brewing. That would be in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And of course, you can tell from the hat too. And that's
I beat you by one brewery.
But
I don't know if it counts. One of the breweries was really not that good.
So we're tied.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So
but,
we'll call it a tie.
In any event, this was
unless that counts as a negative, then you win.
Jersey Johnny. You know, if you've watched their sports podcast and you've seen me on this show, wearing a couple jerseys or whatever. I also collect hats. Obviously, you know. No need to fill anybody in on that one. You probably guessed that already. But
shirts and barware.
Exactly. So whenever I go to a football game or a baseball game or a stadium or whatever, I get a cap. Even if I have one already, I get a different cap from that game. So this is my Steelers one that I got at the game this past or 2 weeks.
In a loss to the Jets. We're still trying to figure out what's gotten into the Jets and the Giants this year. Giants are 4-1 and Jets are 3-2.
Something in the milk.
Something's going on.
Something in the beer, maybe.
I guess.
Maybe Giants are 4-1, Jets are 3-2. Yes.
Maybe they just sucked all of the Mets juju out of them. That's what happened to the Mets.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah, but did that? Here's a question. We'll find out later tonight. But did they do that to the Yankees too?
Well, I don't think so. I don't think it's possible to do the Yankees.
All right. Well,
we'll see. We'll see. And
last I checked, Seattle was kicking the hell out of the Houston Astros.
Good.
So
cheaters. And what tonight? I think tonight hockey starts, doesn't it?
Tonight hockey starts. Yes.
Go Rangers.
Go Blue.
LGFR.
LGFR. No, LFGR.
LFGR. Yes.
Not let's go fucking Rangers.
This doesn't probably didn't. Well, it depends on how far in the season we are.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, in the beginning, you got to be LFGR.
This was not the right beer to start with.
It's not. What are you going to start with? But you're going to start with it anyway.
I started off with a red IPA.
All right.
It's from this place that some people may have heard of.
Is that
it's way up in
Hill Farmstead?
Hill Farmstead. They're up in the northeastern corner of Vermont, out in the middle of nowhere. So
Greensboro, Vermont. Yep.
No one's ever heard of them.
So
I wanted to give my
good hour plus away from Stowe.
From anything.
Or from anything.
Yeah. So I wanted to give them a little love since they're so lonely up there and nobody drinks their beer.
Nobody ever has any of their beer.
It's
good. They make good beer. They
do. So this is
nobody goes there anymore. It's too crowded.
Yes. Thank you, Yogi. I saw a fork in the road, so I took it.
Exactly.
Now this is the first brewery we stopped at, but not the first real beer adventure we had. I remember drove into Vermont. Karen and I like to do geocaching, so we did a little bit of geocaching. Then we had to go get some gas, and we're out of New Jersey, got to pump it yourself. But there's a convenience store it's more like a general store. It's a bakery. That's what it was. It's a bakery.
Fair enough.
We go in, and we're in Vermont, so Carrie's like, "Oh, cheese! We got to get cheese." Oddly enough, we saw a lot of Wisconsin license.
Cheese! We got to get cheese.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Oddly enough, we saw a lot of license plates, a lot of Wisconsin license plates in Vermont. I'll tell you how much I think Vermont cheese is better than Wisconsin cheese, but that's neat. That's just a matter of taste.
I like them both, but I think you might be to some extent right.
Yeah, a little bit. But so we're looking at the cheese, and she finally realized I'm no longer paying any attention to her, listening to her, because I have looked, and this bakery, gas station, convenience store. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at the beer chest.
Now.
No, because I like to stare at chests.
I was going to say, is that some like Instagram post account? The beer chest.
It should, yeah. We're back to the beer.
Never mind. It was a year ago today, so that's why I brought it up.
The wardrobe malfunction at the. Any rate, so I'm just and now I'm just sitting there looking at the cooler and drooling because it is just full of Vermont beer.
Fair
and
enough.
I go and I'm looking at all the 4-packs and I'm like, oh, I can't get all this beer. Look at all the foam that they have. And then I turn to the left and there is the cooler with all the singles. Okay, this is a beautiful thing.
There you go.
I need a basket now. So that was like the first beer experience in Vermont.
Where was that exactly?
Geez, I don't know. Had to be outside Brattleboro.
Okay, so southern,
probably southeastern.
Okay,
southeastern, not too far outside of Brattleboro. We stopped.
Well, you went up into Connecticut, and then you went straight. You went up. Up
oh God, Connecticut! I can't stand driving through that state.
But you went up 91. I'm saying you went.
Yeah. We went up 91. So Route 15. They closed Route 15 at one point entirely,
right,
to set up construction.
Wow.
You do that in Jersey. If you don't leave at least one lane open in New Jersey, you're gonna get shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, or stabbed or something. Someone's going to come out with their tire iron, knock you over the back of the head, shove you in the trunk, and you'll wake up underneath the waters of the Meadowlands.
Yeah, it's not a good thing to do that.
No, yeah. So you don't do that in Jersey, but Connecticut apparently shut the whole damn highway down. We found a way around it, which is good. Only to find out that they must have opened the highway back up, because as we finally get onto Route 91, we come across this like 90s era Cadillac hearse that was stuck in traffic with us.
Lovely.
So they either found a way around it that was faster, or they opened the road back up after setting up construction. I don't know. I still hate driving through Connecticut, but we did that. Got into Vermont, but got to after that got to two of my bucket list places.
And they are
Three Penny Tap Room.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was quite good. Had the schnitzel sandwich. The schnitzel sandwich has apple butter on it.
Mm-hmm.
So good. And then, and of course, this place has Hill Farmstead on tap. If you're so inclined to pregame Hill Farmstead with some Phil Farmstead.
Pre-game Hill Farmstead with some Phil Harmstead.
Phil Harmstead. Now pitching for the Mets, Phil Harmstead. And it was funny because we told the guy we were going to the brewery. It's like, oh, hold on a second. He pulls out a box that's full of Hill Farmstead growlers. Because customer came in and had a box full of growlers. Said, I'm never going to use all of these. If you know if anybody's going to the brewery, just if they need a growler, give them a growler.
Lovely.
So we never filled the growler, but we do have the growler. But then we made it to Hill Farmstead. It's beautiful up there.
Yeah, it is really.
It's absolutely beautiful up there.
The last was a mile and a half, 2 miles that you take to get in there. It's just
gorgeous.
It's gorgeous and
dirt.
Insane and dirt. Yeah,
it's dirt.
Dirt road.
RPAC dirt.
Last time I was there, it was February.
Oh,
and it was 60 degrees.
60 degrees in February. So you're driving through mud.
That's what I was going to say. What do you think? What do you think that trip was in 60-degree weather in February?
That's all mud. It's all mud on that way up there. But hey, it's worth getting there. Had some amazing beers on tap. We may talk about one later. And so I did pick this up. I picked up a few bottles. This is a red IPA called Songs of Autumn. It's really got a West Coast character to it. Mm-hmm. Of the old red IPA, the first red IPAs that we remember coming through.
Sure.
Right. Not so much the rye, because red rye IPAs were a big thing there for a while, and some great stuff. But this is actually a really good red IPA. And
put that up again. Song of Autumn. That's the beer,
right? Yeah. So
pretty
good. And almost done with it. Now I heard you crack open a beer.
I did. I cracked open Love Is the Way. I'm starting with. Start with a beer from the last brewery that I was at, Trace Brewing. It's right here.
Are you going backwards? Because I'm going in order.
No, I'm jumping around.
I'm going in the order that we hit them.
No, I'm just jumping around. I'm going in order of what I wanted to drink first, what I wanted to drink second, what I wanted to drink last.
No, I'm going in the order of the breweries. We actually hit breweries in 4 different states.
Yes, you did. So anyway, that's the can art right there. Love Is the Way. It's an IP. It's 7%, right? 7%. With Citra and Galaxy.
Nice. So that must be like the mantra from one of the lesser known Mandalorian factions.
Love is the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might
The,
very
the
well
more
be.
the more peaceful ones.
Right.
The ones who have put down the swords and the blasters and the jetpacks.
That's really good. It's like it's dank and fruity at the same time. It's like dank.
Yeah.
Getting like dank
Is it
pineapple.
like tropical fruit? Yeah. Usually you get
Tropical,
a tropical
pineapple,
fruit with dank.
peach, citrus, right? But a little dry too because
What?
Because I don't know why. I don't know what I was going to say. Hold on.
Dries out at the end. The dry hopping. What is it?
From the dankness. Yeah, I'm getting it's definitely dank and tropical at the same time, but it's very good. Very good.
This has got definitely shit ton of pine resin. And there's a dankness, there's a little bit of citrus in it. It really tastes like rotting leaves. In a good way.
In a good way. Very nice.
It tastes like fall in a glass.
Fall in a glass. You know what? I love a good red IPA. I do. And you know, to hear somebody say fall, that's a beautiful way to capture that. Not necessarily red rye, like you said, just an actual red IPA.
A red IPA is a very autumnal beer.
It's a very autumnal beer, especially if you take like a red IPA and the hops you use are like, you know, like wet hops. You need like fresh hop, the red IPA. You know, it's not red rye, it's a red colored, red hued, fresh hopped IPA. This time of year, I really like that. And in fact, anytime I can have a beer like that, I definitely celebrate having that beer.
Yes, I've heard of there might be a beer coming out within the next month that you can celebrate with.
I'm going to have to pick up some of that, I think.
Yeah. Anybody watching the show knows damn well we're talking about Sierra Nevada's celebration.
Exactly.
One of John's favorite, if not his. Actually, it's your second favorite beer, if the last list was to be believed.
True story. Yeah, second favorite beer with certainly my favorite IPA, because my number one beer was a Belgian Quad. So
yes, it is.
Strong.
Which I have sat and drank on tap.
Such a good beer. But anyway, all right. So let's start with you. Let's not go. We'll recapture each beer.
Oh, you don't want to bounce back and forth?
Okay. You want to bounce back? All right. So you were all right. So
talk about Trace. You're drinking a Trace. Talk about Trace.
Well, Trace was the last brewery I was at, but I'll talk about it. That's fine. Walked in. Now they also they're in, you know, an eastern suburb. It's still Pittsburgh by all means, but
yeah.
But
same Sierra Nevada's in Asheville.
Right. Exactly. But it's probably about a 15-minute ride, maybe even 20. Could be even longer with traffic. East of the city, up the.
It's like Sierra Nevada. Sierra Nevada is about 20 minutes south of the city.
Yeah. So, but it's Trace Brewing. Great space here. I actually got a couple pictures. Here is.
Oh, you wanted pictures?
Here's
pictures.
That's fine. I throw mine up here. It's good. You can.
Footers. Yeah,
I mean it's a great space. That's the bar there to the left. There's a back bar there. There's a production area behind it. I have a picture of it, but I didn't put it up here. To the right of, if you're standing facing this direction, to the right there's a whole barrel wall.
Nice. Looks like Costanza's mother sitting at the bar.
I think it was actually.
Yeah.
Estelle, yeah.
And it looks like
Georgie.
From one of the empty chairs there, it looks like someone from Rhode Island exploded.
It could be. But anyway, so now to the right of this whole area, beyond where the barrel racking is, was just another cool area. All exposed brick, everything else.
The chill room.
Sure, why not?
You said it's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. And there is one space I couldn't access it this day. They had something going on there, but they actually do have a cool ship.
Cool.
Yeah. So they have a cool ship and 2 fooders. So that's amazing. And then this beer might be talked about later. Okay. I don't know. Might be foreshadowing it. But one of the beers I had there was a Fooder Schwartz beer. Okay.
Yes, you texted me immediately because you knew that was one way to make me jealous as hell.
They fermented the Schwarzbier in one of the foeders. Now it's not. They do wild ale spontaneous ales in one, and then they have the other one for non-sour, if you will, beer.
Okay.
So there's no tartness to this beer whatsoever. It was just fooder. So there's oak, a little bit of cherry,
Nice.
raisin. It was such a complex but so delicious Schwarzbier, and that's a picture of it, by the way. There you go.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. And one more picture, Trace. I was able to take a picture of the sticker wall. I just happened to notice there was a sticker on it. If you look up above,
I see a Coastal Brewer sticker.
There you go.
There you go. And on my trip, I managed to drop a few of those.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, and also I've got some samurai stickers now that I've been distributing out there.
There you go.
So there's a few places that I managed to get out there for you. So I've got I'll shot you some pictures if you want to do anything with them, but we'll see. So that's cool. So they've got fooders, they've got a cool ship, they've got a Coastal Brewer sticker.
Apparently, there's a funny movie on.
yeah, I think he forgot we're on the air. Told him. Anyway, do really enjoy mimicking his laughs too. He's got like about 7 or 8 of them.
Is that right?
And they're all so joyful. It's great. It's great.
Nice.
Great to hear him laugh and having a good time in there. That would be Carrie's son, Matt, in there.
Yes.
So, well, that was the last brewery. So that was on the way home.
That was we when we left Trace, we drove home.
There you go. So it's on your way home.
But they do have coffee there too. They do make pretty.
Well, that's right. It's Pennsylvania. They can do that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to sue the state to be allowed to have coffee at a brewery.
You do not. You can have.
So they roast their own beans.
You know what? I have to apologize. That I'm not sure. I believe so. I'm pretty sure, but I'm not 100%. I got into so much beer conversation. We talked about a lot of other stuff. And then the coffee was like an afterthought. Let's get I'm going to have one now and then a big one for the car and then go, so.
No, at Hill Farmstead had a conversation with a guy, his wife, and his dog. The dog was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy was originally from I'm going to get this wrong. Lower Compton, Little Compton, Rhode Island.
Little Compton, yeah.
Yeah, so we talked about that. He was really surprised that I had heard of it and been there and friggin' love that area. It's a beautiful area, Rhode Island. If you go to Rhode Island, don't go to Little Compton. Don't ruin it for everybody and clog up those streets. Just stay away. It's for those who. And the thing is, I really shouldn't have been there either because I only lived there for a year, so I probably shouldn't go. But I got to go back. I loved it there.
You gotta.
After Hill Farmstead, we because Hill Farmstead wasn't good enough, I had to go to a place that's got this logo.
Oh, yeah, I know that logo.
What logo would that be, John?
That would be Schilling.
And I have this beautiful beer that I have here.
Mm-hmm.
This is wet hop Hansa. This is a Keller Pils.
Wet hopped Hansa.
Yep.
I'm just putting your pictures up. Otherwise, I'd put the crawl up for that right now because you got to bear with me.
Oh my God! Now I did not have this while I was sitting at the brewery. And sitting at the brewery, if you can get out on the deck, get out on the deck because the brewery's right along a river. John's got a picture of it. It's got the red mill, and I can point out where the tap room is. But you sit outside on the deck. The river's going by. There's a covered bridge. And actually, the picture that you will see eventually was taken from the covered bridge. It is actually it's a beautiful place. And I believe, if I remember correctly, when we had our top 3 most beautiful places to sit and drink a beer,
mm-hmm.
I think I had Schilling on that list.
I think you did.
And it's funny because this past weekend, a weekend after being at Schilling, I went to another brewery that was on that list. Screaming Hill. And I got to say, since the last time I was there, because I was there the year they opened, their beers have gotten good. They're doing some good stuff there. Mm-hmm. So that's in Cream Ridge, New Jersey. So Schilling was great. I brought back some beers from there, and John and I are talking about doing a special smoked beer show. If we can get a certain guest back on. Have you reached out to him, John?
I have, and we will talk about that soon. Hold on, we got a comment in here.
Yeah, no,
Chuck Chiplett said
he put that up immediately.
He
saw that logo, and so that's Constantine is
excellent. Yes. There you
go.
Which we got. So I just want to throw the pictures up. I finally got them. It just there's a lot in the file. So is that
is Schilling? So if you see the red building with the paddle wheel. The paddle wheel doesn't really work anymore, so it's not moving. That's actually the brew pub. They make pizza there.
Wait. They're allowed to make pizza at a brewery?
Yeah, at the brew pub. Here's the whole thing about that. It's New England. Mm-hmm. So if you're from the tri-state area, it's still, from what I understand, good pizza, because the only way to get good pizza in New England is coal-fired oven pizza.
Sure.
And some of that good stuff, but if you go to a regular pizzeria in New England, and you're from the tri-state area, just don't do it. You're going to be disappointed. You're going to be pissed off. Right. Don't do it. And God bless their hearts, they don't know what real pizza is there. When I lived in Rhode Island, actually got some real pizza, brought it up there, reheated it, mm-hmm. and they couldn't believe it.
Gotcha. So. Are any of these other pictures from something?
There is a Hill Farmstead picture up there, and I think it's of the sign. There it is. Mm-hmm. So you can see that we got to go back to the Schilling one though in a second though. But you can see the building on the right is the tap room, mm-hmm. and the building under the left, poking out from under the sign, that is where the
shop.
That is the shop. That's where the merchandise and it's where the bottle shop and all that. Mm-hmm. As you can see, it was just a gorgeous day up there.
Beautiful, yeah, absolutely.
So go back to the Schilling picture.
Well, one more thing, the Three Penny Tap Room you already mentioned. You were there.
Oh yeah. I sent you. Yeah, there's the
picture of the Three Penny Tap Room. There you go. Cool. All right, so back to Schilling.
So Schilling. So the gray building. Mm-hmm. The gray building. If you see that deck, that is the tap room.
There you go.
Get your butt on that deck. Sit there, and you're looking at a covered bridge. It's where I'm standing taking this picture. Mm-hmm. And that river, Woosa something. it's one of the Native American names.
Woosa something.
Now Mousa. No,
Mousa.
That was the Mickey Mouse Club. Never mind.
Now they had a fire up there, did they not?
They did. So if you look, I believe it was the Gray Building. Mm-hmm. Which is the brewery itself. That's where that's production brewing. Mm-hmm. That it caught on fire. And if you look, that roof looks really damn new. And there's a reason for it, because that's what burnt was the roof.
The roof burned.
They burned the roof was on fire.
So did they get any water, or they just let the motherfucker burn?
No, they got some water, because we need the beer. You don't let that motherfucker burn.
Okay.
I tell you, so John and I talked about it before. There's a Facebook group that we're in. We talk about beer in it all the time. Mm-hmm. And when the news came out about Schilling being on fire, this is a little town, literally Littleton, New Hampshire, way up there. And once the news got out,
put up your crawl so you can actually see it from there.
This is what I'm drinking.
And
forgive the pun, but the news spread like wildfire. It was. And everybody who knows Schilling was watching that with trepidation and fear that we would lose one of the great breweries in this country, because there's very few breweries that you can go to after going to Hill Farmstead and drink that beer and go, God damn, that's good.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right? There's very few breweries that you can do that with. You could get all the way out to Burlington and get to Foam maybe, but even then, Foam is really, really good, but they're not dissimilar to Hill Farmstead, so it's going to be paled a little bit. Mm-hmm. Whereas you've got Schilling, they're a whole different animal, right? It's you've got your European classic styles of beer that they just do so wonderfully.
Yep.
So you can go to Hill Farmstead, drink all their fantastic beer, then go over to Schilling and drink their fantastic beer, and you're not going to cross over. So there's no way to compare one to the other. They're just two two absolutely amazing breweries. Really, not all. I think they're within an hour of each other, or a little over an hour.
Maybe right about an hour. Right about an hour sounds about right. Yeah, I mean, and if there was a highway, like an interstate highway,
oh god, yes, it was
one to
it's
the
all
other,
back
about
roads.
25 minutes you can get from one to the other.
It's all back roads.
Right.
They're as the crow flies, it's really not that far, but as the roads wind, it takes a bit. It takes a bit of time to get there, but it's really
so
worth
it was indeed a long and winding road. Is what you're telling me?
Yes, it was, John.
Sounds like a good.
That was a Paul song, wasn't it?
That was a Paul song. Yes,
that was a Paul song.
Now you got a train. Now you got a train coming.
Yeah, every time
you are. You are so cityfied tonight.
I am. This is just. Well, I really. I forgot to close the windows. I apologize for that. But there's a beautiful breeze blowing outside tonight. No, how's it go? There's a beautiful breeze blowing.
Beautiful breeze blowing.
Beautiful breeze blowing. I really love to see you tonight. Anyway, it's a yacht rock song.
There's a warm wind blowing. The stars around.
And the stars around. Really see you tonight. Yeah, there we go. That's the line.
Mm-hmm. England Dan.
Yeah. And John Ford Coley.
Sean Ford Coley, right? Exactly.
John Ford, not Sean Ford. John.
I said John Ford.
You said Sean.
I said John. You heard Sean. I said John.
No, you slurred John. You slurred John into Sean. John.
Anyway, but
that's freaking Elios. It's that Elios doing it to you.
That's what it is. This beer is very good, actually. This beer is very, very tasty. Talk to Dave while I was out there, the owner of Trace. I'm going to go back because this was the end of the trip. I'm going to go back to the beginning and come forward a little bit, and we'll end on saying Trace again or whatever. But talk to Dave, the owner. Going to get him, maybe one of the brewers on the show soon.
Well, like I said, I was too busy talking to and playing with a dog at Hill Farmstead to talk.
Look at the lacing. Look at the lacing on that.
That's a beautiful lacing. That means good proteins.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Sean Hill was anywhere anyway. And Schilling, there was just a couple of New Hampshireites heading bar. There was no one there to really speak to other than a table full of Dutch people.
A table full of Dutch people,
which is really cool because they knew the actor and the singer that I was on the TV show with from the Netherlands. Oh, so that was kind of cool.
That was cool. Wow.
So they had the singer Gus, and they went, "Oh, Millways." I said, "Yeah, Millways. That's the guy." At any rate,
all right.
So that was fun.
It was fun. So
you're moving on to your second.
I'm moving on to my second because you are on your second.
I'm halfway through my second.
You're halfway through your second. So
I've got four bland.
I'm only having three. So
I've got 4 plans beard tonight.
4 plans beard tonight?
No, 4 plans beard tonight.
All right.
I didn't spoonerize that one.
There you go. Anyway, okay. So while I pour this ball, I'll just tell you what it is. I'll throw this up really quick. This was one of the brews. This was the 4th brewery.
Was this your first time at this one? I don't remember you talking about it the first time you were there.
The reason I had these two back to back, obviously Trace. That was the first time I was ever at Trace.
Yes, you never spoke about that before.
And this is the first time I was at this brewery. This is 4 Points. This is about 3 blocks away from Heinz Field, and I know it's Acrisure.
No, it's Heinz Field.
It's Heinz Field. So, but yeah, it's 4 Points Brewing.
And you know why it's Heinz Field?
Why? I know why it's Heinz Field. You tell me why it's Heinz Field.
Because that's where Heinz Ward played.
Oh, there you go. That's why it's Heinz Field.
It's nothing to do with ketchup.
Right. So I heard a couple of, I don't know whether they were rumors or truths or if there's a little bit of both or what. I really don't know because I didn't do any research. So don't quote me on this, but I'll just tell you what I heard on the street while I was out there, so to speak.
John Fladum said.
And that's because another company bought Heinz. So Heinz doesn't own Heinz anymore. Another company, a bigger conglomerate, owns Heinz.
So they sold the naming rights.
And they moved all of their production out of Pittsburgh to Mexico.
So our ketchup's now Mexican?
Heinz ketchup is now from Mexico, yes.
If they're using Mexican water, then when you're done using the ketchup, your butt's going to sound like the squeeze bottle when it's nearly empty.
Let's hope that they actually boil what they're making so it's better. But regardless of that, well, I mean, look, you can't say that, right? Because I mean, you've had as painful as it might be to say or admit, you've had a Corona before, right? You've had a Dos Equis before, correct? You've had a Modelo. Joe drinks Modelo like it's water. No pun intended.
Maybe.
Right? Maybe.
No, Modelo's not water. Corona's water.
Corona's water. But 6-1. 6-1. Modelo Negra is actually a good beer.
Actually Modelo Negra is my favorite cerveza.
Yeah. But in any event, these use Mexican water too, right? But it's boiled. It's brewed. So I'm sure they do the same thing with the ketchup. Anyway, back to the story.
We're hoping. Right? This is not the ketchup podcast.
They did not want a Mexican company sponsoring their local stadium. So that's why Acrisure is now.
That's an interesting theory.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is just a theory, but we will quote you on. No, don't quote you on.
Don't quote me on it. Don't quote me on it.
Okay, so you got Dunkelweizen going.
So I got a Dunkelweizen going. So it is both the name of the beer and the style of the beer. So.
And are you getting that kind of what's the kind of like that Bananas Foster thing going without the cinnamon?
Yeah. It's I mean the German malts are there. You got them right there, but it's a very light Dunkel. There's not a lot. It's an easy. Let's put it this way: if I had to say,
well, it's a 5% Dunkel.
It's a 5%.
That's a low Dunkel.
Right? It's a low Dunkel, right? So it's a little bit milder. So I would say it's probably, if you could split the difference between, and not that there really is a difference between, but let's play hypothetical here. If you could split the difference between a dark English mild and a Dunkelweizen, this is what it is, right?
Okay.
So it's an easier drinking Dunkel. Not that the Dunkel's hard to drink to begin with, but it's a little lighter. But it's good. It's very, very tasty, very flavorful. It's nothing's punching you in the face. It's nice, all subdued flavors. It's pretty tasty. So, good. and this is they actually have a 4P is their like core brands, if you will. Like, so they have a 4P Dunkel, they have a 4P Pills, they have so forth and so on. This is not that 4P Dunkel that they do is a separate Dunkel. So this is a small batch that they just did recently, which is why I grabbed it. I actually had one there too. So this is the second time I'm having this beer. But I had several there. So
it was interesting because the wet hopped Hansa I did not have at the brewery, but I did have Song of Autumn at the brewery.
There you go. So let me jump back really quick, just for a minute.
Jump back. Okay, let's jump back. Where are we jumping back to?
Jump back. Want to kiss myself? All right,
not that far back.
So we get out to Pittsburgh. Left early enough. First thing we do as soon as we get out there, it's noon, just before noon actually.
Gotta take a picture.
Go to Hofbrau. Went to Hofbrau.
Gotta go to Hofbrau.
Gotta go to Hofbrau. Had to have lunch.
What'd you have for lunch?
So I had I'll give you 3 guesses what I have for lunch.
A brat, or a brat.
I'm not going to put the picture up on. I'm not going to put the picture up on the screen, but I will just show you.
Certainly hope you had a pretzels and appetizer and a brat for lunch.
Hold on.
We're coming, folks.
It's getting close here.
You're starting to breathe heavy. What are we seeing here? We are seeing that would be so we've got a bratwurst, and that would be. Turn my head this way. I see some. Trying to figure out what the red sausage is there. Is that a Frankfurter?
Nope. It is not.
What's his?
It is a
cheddar wurst, or
no? It's a knockwurst.
Knockwursts are usually a lot fatter than that.
Yeah, no. Well, there's there. So it's a bratwurst and knockwurst, and it's a pork schnitzel too.
It's that schnitzel in there. Gotta love the schnitzel.
And I also have mashed potatoes and some spätzle. Gotta have spätzle.
Spätzle's so special.
Special spätzle. So anyway, then so I lived there. So you had a couple beers. Had their Märzen, their Oktoberfest, and a Weizenbach, and a couple of beers there. Get it going, eat. But got out of there, and then we went over to Dancing Gnome. Okay.
Now that's one of the places that most people say you must get to if you're in Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. Can you concur?
I can concur. Hold on one second. Chuck Trouble just put up the swine Saxon is so good there. Dinner only. Yes, you're right. It is dinner only. And had we been there for dinner, I may have actually gotten that. But
But I get the feeling you moved on.
But no, we were out of there in just under an hour. Anyway, so we go over to Dancing Gnome. It was their 6th anniversary party.
Nice.
So we were there for the 6th anniversary party. And if you've been to Dancing Gnome,
I've not.
Anybody out there that's been to Dancing Gnome, they actually have a new location. It's a much bigger location. And it's only 2 blocks down the road. So it's not too far away. You can actually use, if GPS, if you're getting there and GPS takes you to the old location, you're only a couple blocks away from the actual new location. But I just want to throw the picture up really quick because this is it. It was indeed. It's a really cool space inside.
That's a beautiful spot.
They did a really nice job with the production area. If you look back all the way, like in the bottom
right where the barrels are.
Where the barrels are. Beyond that's the production area. You can even see some stainless behind it.
And so, folks, it's not that my eyesight's that good. Is I've got a massive monitor here. It's like a 30-inch curved monitor, so the picture's a lot larger to me than probably most people who are watching. Unless you're watching it on YouTube on your 42-inch TV.
Unless you're watching on YouTube on your 42-inch TV, exactly. So, no, I was there though. I had their pub ale, which was fantastic.
Nice.
And they had their Oktoberfest as well. Their Martzen. Had a delicious IPA, double IPA called Nobody's Robot. Fantastic.
Oh wow. Nobody's Robot. You would think there'd be a collaboration with Human Robot, but
you would think. But in any event, had their Kolsch, and then I finished with their barrel aged Black Clouds, which is a double vanilla barrel aged stout, which was fantastic.
Oof. What was the ABV on that sucker?
That would be 11%.
Yeah, that's that's a hell of a glass of dessert right there.
Yeah, it was pretty tasty. So, but anyway.
I gotta say one thing. This wet hopped Hansa. This is a variant on their normal Hansa. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty certain they must have wet hopped this with some Hallertau's or Millerfrug or something German, because you get a really floral bite out of this one.
Nice.
So,
well, I gotta be honest with you. Schilling, not going to shock me if they use German noble hops.
No, would it? Not would it?
not a little bit. No.
With a name like Schilling, it's got to be good.
It's got to be good. So
the one thing we got to do one of these days.
What's that?
I don't know if we can do it. I don't know if Untapped would let us do it. We should make it a check-in location for the podcast. But it would have to. But the thing is, it would have to be local to one location. I don't think they'd let us do it because there's Untapped at Home, which is just global, right? I wonder if they'd let us create something like that. We may have to.
So, you know what? You can make it. It could be
halfway between us.
No. You could make. Who's this check-in for? Is it check-in for other people? Is it check-in for
anybody watching the show?
Well, but the reason I say is
for us,
you can't check in now to a location more than 60 miles away. So if somebody's watching in Colorado, they can't check in.
Exactly.
But we could, because either of us can check into either or, so it doesn't.
Yeah, we're within 60 miles, right?
But what I was going to say was, why don't we make the Lager Room guys, Samurai's Lager Room.
There we go, and
Jersey Johnny's Lager Room, or Johnny's Lager
Room. Or something like that. We should do something like that. Anyway,
then just to finish out the first day. Brewery-wise, when we left Dancing Gnome, went over to Grist House. And you heard me talk about Grist House many
Grist House is it's probably your favorite brewery in Pittsburgh, is it not?
It's I'll say this, it's one of my favorites. It's definitely in my top 3.
If not 2.
I'll say 3. I'll say 3.
Okay.
I'll say 3 because you got to remember I went to a couple breweries that I haven't been to before, so I got to massage things now.
True.
But no, it's up there though. Had a few beers there. Had, of course, I had the first beer I had was London Crawling. I love that beer.
Yes.
I love that beer, the dark mild. All right. Had their Hazadelic Juice Grenade.
Wow, that sounds like an IPA. New England IPA.
It was a Pilsner.
Really?
No.
It better be a New England IPA.
No, it was a New England IPA. Yeah. Had their Flannel Forever Pale Ale.
Nice.
Autumnal Pale Ale, if you will. Mm-hmm. And I had their Fest beer. So
beautiful. And finish out my first day.
Mm-hmm.
So when John and I were talking about the number of breweries we've been to, there was one that was negative. We went here for dinner, and the reason we went here is because Carrie and I have been to Woodstock Brewing in Woodstock, New York.
Mm-hmm.
We went to Woodstock, I think it's Woodstock Ales down in Shenandoah, Shenandoah Valley. Both these good breweries, good beer, great place to have.
Right.
So I saw Woodstock Inn and Brewing. Like, haha, now we can get 3 Woodstocks. This place is extremely popular, and it's been around for a while. They're like the only game in town.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't say I recommend the food or the beer, because we have that thing where we'll talk about going to a brewery that serves food, and if the beer's not good, we like to be nice, and people go, so how was the beer? Oh, the food was excellent.
She's got a great personality.
Exactly. No, this was ugly and mean.
By the way, that goes both ways. He's got a great personality.
Yes, it's not just that way.
Okay.
We ordered the what was it, the
prime rib,
short rib poutine.
Oh, short rib poutine.
Yeah. Right. So there were flaccid fries covered in bechamel with maybe 3 little chunks of short rib.
Doesn't even sound like short rib poutine to me.
Doesn't sound like poutine. That's just
sounds like cheese fries.
Not even. It's bechamel. It's a white sauce.
Yeah, but still, that's somebody's take on cheese fries,
No, it was not. There wasn't. There was. I don't think there was anything there that we actually enjoyed, which is a shame, because it's in a beautiful, beautiful setting, a beautiful building, historic building.
Do you think it was because it's gotten popular, so they've
fallen off, or because they're the only game in town, they were never all that good, but still popular because there's nothing else there?
Maybe
that's a possibility.
I've been to plenty of places that at one point were the shit, right? They were amazing food, amazing beer, amazing beer menu if it wasn't a brewery, whatever, and then gone back after they just achieved ridiculous notoriety and fame and popularity.
Yeah,
and it's not the same now. Again,
Long Valley was one of those.
Sure,
they've improved since.
They've gotten back to.
They've gotten back to not to the level they were, but they've gotten better.
But in any event, a lot of that is experience. Is about a lot of experiences. It counts for a lot too. So if you're somewhere that you had a great experience once, and you're having a not so great experience because because of how busy it is, or how loud it is, or whatever, any of those things, that's gonna make the experience fall off. So while maybe your experience was amazing the first time and the food was here, so you called it a great experience, now your experience is here.
Okay, so we got 3 possibilities here. One, they earned their original accolades because they were good, but because they got so popular, everything fell off.
Right.
Or they got a new chef, they got a new brewer, whatever, and things fell off because they had so many accolades, so they moved on to something else.
Right. Hold that thought. There's another thing there. I'll tell you in a minute. Go ahead.
So there's that. There's the possibility that they were never good because they're the only game in town, they got very popular. Or before they were really popular, people would go there, have a phenomenal time before it got really crowded. And now because it's so crowded, their experience is less. So now
seems less. Right.
But this is our first time there, so that's obviously not the case.
You can't call that what it is, right? Yeah. Well, the other thing I was going to say too is they're amazing. If a place is amazingly popular and was, all that it was cracked up to be, so to speak, and they were brewing amazing beer, they were making amazing food. Right now, they've achieved such notoriety because their food is tremendous and their beer is tremendous. Now that original brewer has his own brewery. Now that original chef has his own restaurant.
That's what I said. They've moved on to something bigger and better. They've lost what made them great.
Right.
Because they've gone to their own thing.
And couple the third thing with that, the experience that you had while you were there is lower because more people are there. So it's
all of that.
So there you go. All right. On that note, really quick, did I forget to put this up? Grist House. They had been building for seemingly a while another space on the property. Not a different space, just an additional space on the property. They had finished it. Here's a picture.
Oh, nice.
So another.
Oh, it can be completely opened up. I like that.
Yeah. So it's really cool. It was really cool.
You guys did not have as good weather as we had.
No, we did not have. We had the remnants of Ian.
Yes, we were still up and above it.
Yep. But I will tell you this, though. Saturday, it drizzled on and off. We didn't really have any heavy rain by any means, but it was overcast and little chilly, not cold by any means, but a little chilly and drizzly all night long. We went out to dinner, so forth and so on. But Sunday, we're out there one of the things we did on Sunday was we went to the Steelers-Jets game. Okay, we went to Heinz Field, went to the Steelers-Jets game. Now, I was there in Steelers regalia, if you will.
Jess was in her Jets regalia.
Jess and the other couple we went with, all three of them were wearing.
And they were in their glory because Jets manhandled the Steelers.
They got manhandled.
No.
Now the Bills manhandled the Steelers this past Sunday.
Oh, yes, they did.
But comparatively, the Jets did not manhandle them. They just took care of business. They did what they had to do.
Now, the one thing that John doesn't know, and we've mentioned on the show, I run a John Fladong Giants rant over under.
John's well aware of that.
He's aware of that.
He was not aware every week.
He does not know what they are every week because then he could impact the results if he so chose to.
Believe me, frustration would make me forget what it was to begin with.
Sometimes, yes, but put this way, one of the common categories is number of poo emojis used during the Giants game. And the first week, John blew the poo emoji. He went straight to the overs with one post, as a matter of fact. So the one thing we knew that he probably wouldn't be posting much during this game was he'd be at the game. And not only that, be distracted because he's also on his phone trying to see what the Giants are doing. So he's on his phone watching the game, so he's not going to post on Facebook. But so one of the categories that was made that week was how many open mouth selfies John and Jess took, be it on either John's or Jess's feed. They took one selfie and their mouths were closed. They are known for catching flies when they take their pictures. Just like that. But no, they actually had their mouths closed and the unders prevailed that week. As they did this week. Somehow or another, you missed every single category this last week.
I spread the aggravation around. I started using a new grouping of emojis. I put a picture of it's actually a deer because they don't have a moose in emojis, but it's moose and then a baseball.
Yes,
moose ball.
But and I can't even tell you what the categories are because they may be reused, but you went all unders again.
Well, that was also because once we got to the second half of the Giant game,
they were winning.
They were doing pretty freaking good. So, and see, that's the other thing. When they start winning like that, I'm hesitant to post because I don't want to
ruin it.
I don't want to jinx anything. I'm sitting there with my phone down. I went to pick it up probably about 12 times. I'm like, nope, put it right back down. I will post after the game.
All right. Well, back to our trips.
We had
our little.
Anyway,
we digressed into this was a football digression.
Yeah, but anyway, like I said, we went to that's the first thing we did other than breakfast that we did on Sunday was we tailgated. Right now, tailgating in Pittsburgh. If you've been, you know, tailgating in Pittsburgh. There's no people around here. We all go to Giants games. We go to Jets games in Jersey or whatever, or anywhere you go. Most stadiums have big lots, right? Yeah. So everybody's in. There's this huge lots, and everybody tailgating, and so forth and so on. Pittsburgh's not that way. Pittsburgh has many small lots in and around the whole North Shore, where the stadiums are. Both Heinz Field, which I'll still call it Heinz Field,
and North Shore of the Canega,
and PNC Park.
What's the river? It's the North Shore. Which river? The
Allegheny.
Allegheny. Because the three rivers are the Allegheny, the Ohio, and the
Monongahela.
Monongahela, not Cananga.
So the Allegheny is the North Shore. The South Shore is the Monongahela, and they both merge to make the Ohio. Yeah. So in any event, so we find a lot, one of the small lots. We park, and we're tailgating with some great guys, and women, great guys and women, and had great conversations. Shared some Coastal Brew Works beer.
Nice.
They shared. I actually have one guy. I gave him a Building Sandcastles. He gave me an IPA, which I haven't had yet. It's in the fridge, from one of his favorite breweries in North Carolina.
One of his favorite breweries in North Carolina, an IPA, Burial.
Nope.
In North Carolina.
A larger brewery in North Carolina, not Sierra Nevada. Not New
Yazoo. Give it to me. Wait a second. Bearded Iris?
No.
Who are we talking about?
Owned by a company you do not like, nor do I.
Wicked Weed doesn't do a lot of IPAs.
Well, I have an IPA downstairs from Wicked Weed, so
interesting.
Yeah, but I'm of the mindset if the beer's good, I'm going to drink it.
Hey, and then you know what? You are not giving AB and Bev any money. The beer was given to you.
There you go.
Drink it conscious. Drink it,
and I thanked him very much for it.
I'm
interesting. I want to drink it. I want to taste it.
No, you're not interested. You're interested. You're interesting too.
I didn't say I'm interesting. What are you shaking yours tonight? I said interested.
You never hear what you said. Every time that we run it back and I go back, like, yeah, that's exactly what he said.
We'll have to look later. But in any event,
you listen later, not look.
Well,
later.
my point is, what I was just going to say,
we don't transcript the shows.
I've had many actually. Wicked.
We should pay someone to transcript the shows.
Maybe we should. I've had many Wicked Weed beers, but I haven't had any Wicked Weed IPAs.
I've never had an IPA by that.
I'm curious. I want to see what it's like. So
I thank you very much.
Interested, and I appreciate it. And you're very interested. You're not that interesting.
No, I'm not.
No. So in any event, okay. So after that, the where did we go? Oh, we went to 4 Points that day. After the game, we went to 4 Points. And then dinner that night was actually at Cinderlands, which is a brewery, which I've been to before. Cool. Went to they have 3 locations actually, but they the warehouse, they call it something else, the main location, and then they have the Fooder House. We were at the Fooder House. And we had some amazing food. Food was fantastic.
Food or what?
Food or beer, something like that. But we had some back to 4 Points though. I had an amazing beer. The first beer I walk in right to 4 Points, and I'm looking, and they had probably about 18 beers up, right? And they had one beer called Schwartz.
Was it a Schwartz beer?
It was a dark lager.
Huh.
Yes, it was a Schwartz beer.
There's a name for those.
Yeah.
Especially if they're German in character.
That's correct. And so I had that.
If they're Czech character, there's a different name for them.
That's true. But then I had the Grizz.
Was it a Grisette?
It was a Grisette. Very good. Look at that.
It's a good quiz we got going here.
There you go.
It's more like word association.
Then I had their Oktoberfest, their Marzen, their 4P.
What do they call that? The Mars?
No, that was just 4P Marzen.
Okay.
Marzen.
So this is one of their cores.
Right. Then I had the Dunkel that I'm drinking right now.
Right. And the 4P Dunkel?
Then I had Ethel's Finest Pilsner. And it was a German.
Let me guess. That was a sour.
No, it was a German.
Ethel's kind of sour sometimes.
Yeah, this is true. Well, sometimes, yeah. Well, it depends.
Archie makes her that way.
It depends. It depends on what Fred does, actually.
It's Edith was with Archie.
Edith was with Archie.
I got the wrong E.
Ethel was with Fred.
Fred and Ethel.
Anyway, it was a very good, very, very, very good German Pilsner. Very tasty.
Nice.
And then I had I had a little sip of somebody else's sour. Actually, I probably had about 4 sips of somebody else's sour. It was quite good. Extra fruition lemon mango strawberry.
Was it a fruited kettle sour?
It was a fruited sour. It doesn't.
When I say fruited,
whether it was a kettle sour or not.
When I say fruited sour, I just assume it's a kettle.
It's a kettle. Yeah, pretty. You gotta assume that. But then I had a sour of my own that was called Every Time Once Only.
Anytime once only.
Every time once only. I'm sorry, every time only once. Dyslexia can be cured.
Every time
only once.
I'm trying to wrap my head around
this. This is a fruited sour as well. It's the raspberry blackberry version. This was fantastic.
Yeah.
So good. I actually have cans of it
I'm
downstairs.
drinking a really fucking trippy sour right now, but I'll get to later because this is on like day 3.
Gotcha.
And I haven't
And
gotten to my
then
day 2 yet.
just to finish day 2, went to Cinderlands, had dinner, had their fest beer, had a German Pils, had a hef, and had their saison.
Oh, there you go.
And yeah, it was they were pretty good.
Nice.
So anyway,
My day 2 actually.
it was their Hill and Hollow saison. It was a blackberry version, and it was aged. It was sitting around. It's a year old, so it was very, very.
Oh, that must have gotten some nice tartness too.
It was very nice. It was very nice. Anyway, that's day 2. So go back to your day 2.
I'm distracted right now because they're introducing the Rangers over your left shoulder. Yeah, right over there. Any rate, so the boys in blue.
We're over at we're at an hour 5 already, so we can probably speed up the rest of our trips.
Yeah, probably a little bit. But so with the second day, we actually got up into the White Mountains, did a little sightseeing up in the mountains, did a little geocaching in the mountains, drove through, came down. We went through Conway, we saw Moat, but it was so crowded. We just wanted to get back into the area we were in. We're staying in Tilton, and the way we came in, we stopped at a brewery in that area called Vulgar. Vulgar was very cool.
That's very vulgar.
Very vulgar.
Perfect for you.
I may have sent you a picture of Vulgar, of the outside Vulgar, so you can pop that up there. Vulgar is owned by it's like 3 or 4 owners to that. There's a husband-wife team. There's a brewer. There's a chef. That's not Vulgar.
Oh, that's the only other picture you sent me.
No, I sent you more than that. No, take that down. I'll tell you when to bring that one up.
The only other one you sent me was Barreled Souls, and I know it's Barreled Souls. Other than
because it says Barreled Souls.
It says Barreled Souls on it. So.
I could have sworn I sent you another one, but at any rate, so Vulgar did some pretty nice stuff.
I've never seen you in this light. You look pretty good in this light.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Apparently, my camera shut itself off. I'm going to turn it right back on there. Or not. Okay, hold on. We're going to go to settings. I need to show a picture here. Camera.
Anybody wants to see this? Oh, there we go. He's back.
There we go.
Okay. Never mind.
So this is Vulgar Brewing. It looks like it should be a candy store.
Get a little closer to the camera. A little closer. There you go.
There you go.
Good.
Looks like it should be a candy store, right?
Does look like a candy store.
Kind of is a candy store, if you ask me. But it was really neat. I got to talk to one of the owners and his wife. His wife is attending bar. He is involved in the brewing, but also most of the managing the business. Really cool people. Hopefully we'll get them on the show one day. That was a lot of fun. Then we went over to Kettlehead. Kettlehead is the better known of the 2 breweries in the area. We really should have stuck to their IPAs there. I think they're trying to jump into the Pilsner Lager game. They're not quite as strong in that game as they are in the IPA game.
Fair enough.
So need to get back there. That was day 2. Day 3 was pretty much our big day. And so last week, we drove through Portsmouth first, Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And people know Portsmouth because of Portsmouth Brewing, but we didn't stop there. We did stop at a place, and I forgot to bring this up. Now I've got one more brewery than you, John, actually, even if you take stock out of it. And it's called, I forget what it's called now. Damn it.
Well, you can't count it if you forget what it's called.
Earth Eagle. And
wasn't that a song back in the 50s?
Earth Eagle. Yeah,
Earth Eagle.
Yeah, no, that's not. So the Earth Eagle
Will you brew mine?
Is a turkey, apparently.
Earth Eagle is a turkey.
It is a really cool place to hang out. You got to like kind of walk behind the building to go into it. We're actually parked down the hill from it, right on the river. Nice. That was a cool hang. Some cool people, some great conversation there. Had a lot of fun there, but that's not, that was just a stop for us. And then we moved on. The reason we moved on is because there has been talk amongst Doug Smith, John, myself, John Starodumsky, our guest last week. And if you remember last week, I was wearing a shirt from a brewery called Sacred Profane.
Mm-hmm.
Sacred Profane has made some statements that they were going to brew the best Czech style lagers on the planet, I believe they said, correct?
That's what I heard.
When I asked the beer tender about it, she told me, I'm pretty certain they didn't say that. They may have said the United States. No, that's not what they said. But I didn't challenge her. I'm like, she is pouring my beer, so I'm not going to get into an argument with the beer tender as to what they was said. But started off, so they've got 2 beers there. There is the light and the dark. And they do not call them Czech Pilsner, or they don't call them Pivos or Tmavy Pivos. And they do this, and as the beer tender put it, and this puts them in a different light, they do it out of respect for the styles. We're in the United States. They're not going to call them by their Czech names because we're in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So that's awesome. And I like to hear that.
Kind of like not calling a Berliner Weiss that's brewed in the Atlantic Highlands. You
and calling it a Highlander.
Highlander Weiss. Right.
So on one hand, that's paying homage to where you are, but it's also respecting the tradition.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
So put up Chuck's comments.
All right. So Chuck just said, you read them. I'll put them up.
Because I expect to be disappointed because the hype, but actually was suitably impressed. 100% agree with you, Chuck, there. Love them. And this last one here, the light was delicious. So the light one, I took one sip of that. Carrie looked at me, was like, are you going to cry? Tasting it
brought you to tears.
Almost. It brought me back to Urquell before they ripped out the wood tanks. Wow. It didn't have that oaky wooden character that Urquell had, so it didn't quite bring me to tears because it wasn't quite there. But it did kind of have more of a bite from the Saaz hops than you're used to getting.
Yeah.
The malts really shone through on this. It is extremely well-crafted beer. You can pull up that picture now, John, that you pulled up.
Chuck just said it gave him goosebumps.
Right, exactly. The taste of this really brought you back to what Urquell was. Not quite there, but enough. So this is the tank room. These tanks up here, this is what stores the beer. It comes down. You can see eventually this makes it down to the taps. The system that they have is the only Czech tank system in the United States. They had to beg and plead for this to get the rights to bring this in. So it's very impressive to see. It's very impressive that they, talk the company in Czechia to make this for them and allow them to bring it into the United States to make this beer. And this light Czech Pilsner that they make it's special. It really is special. Are they making the best Czech Pilsner in the U.S., the best Czech light Pilsner? Mm-hmm. I'd be hard-pressed to think of anybody doing. The only people that I know that I've had, now this is not, there's still a particular brewery in Denver that probably has a lot to say about this.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. But, there is that Czech Pilsner out of Fishtown, Philadelphia, by Human Robot, mm-hmm. which is and it's the one they make milk tubes out of. That is one of my favorite Czech Pilsners I've ever put in my face, other than the original Urquell. Mm-hmm. So it is really, it is special. The best in the United States. Some people will have something to say about that. But, like Chuck, it gave him goosebumps. It nearly brought tears to my eyes tasting this, because it really did bring you back to that OG, back in the 80s when it first started getting brought over here. So it was really fantastic. And then I went with the dark, let's call it a Tmavy Pivo. They're not going to call it a Tmavy Pivo.
And Doug Smith says he's looking forward to visiting in a few weeks.
So Doug, you'll have to report back to what you thought of it. And the thing is, now the shame of it is now you've heard Chuck and I talk about it and saying it deserves the hype. Mm-hmm. So you're not going into it the same way Chuck and I went into it. And we apologize that for you, for your sake. Chuck and I both went in expecting to be disappointed. So maybe we were blown off our feet because they far exceeded what our expectations were.
Right.
So, Doug, if you're going in with the expectations, what Chuck and I have said about it, maybe it'll level set it for you, and you'll be able to really, really experience it with more of a fresh slate than the expected disappointment that Chuck and I went in. But the Tmave Pivo was really good. It was really rich. It was really roasty. I really, really enjoyed it. I have had, for my taste and my palate, better Tmave Pivos in the U.S. I'd say alternate endings, apostrophe S, not an S at the end of it. Their Black Czech Lager, I think, is fantastic. I think Human Robots Black Czech Lager is fantastic. I've had a few that I think may have been better, but not for nothing. That was a fantastic beer. It really was a fantastic beer. But you come out, get to the main road, go 10 minutes north, and you are at a brewery whose logo looks something like this.
Now, would that be this?
That would also be, take the picture down for a second, this.
There you go.
And you can tell how much I drank at Barrel Souls, because why would I get this color?
Right. Exactly.
I don't know. Actually, I kind of like the color now. But I am
one more thing. Chuck said hopefully they'll have cans. Talking to Doug.
Okay, so Doug, when you go, they will have cans. When I talked to them, I said, "You do can anything?" And just warning, they were sold out of everything for fat guys, so it was only XL or lower. They're completely out of 2X. That's why. But oh no, they weren't, because I brought a shirt back. I was wearing it last week. Duh. So 2X. So Barrel Souls. Mm-hmm. Barrel Souls. What I'm drinking now is one of their sours. This is a sour. It's called Trippy Souls. You just gotta love their can art. This looks like someone tie-dyed a rattlesnake, doesn't it? This is a sour ale with sour sop.
Tie-dyed a rattlesnake.
Right? Doesn't it look like someone tie-dyed a rattlesnake?
That's a good beer name. Let's tie-dye a rattlesnake.
There we go. It doesn't work for Coastal Brewers. You got to talk someone else into that.
No.
There's not a lot of rattlesnakes on the beach, John.
Well, if there were, that would be interesting.
It would be odd.
It's tie-dye a sand crab.
But that would be trippy. There you go. Tie-dye a sand crab. Tie-dye a horseshoe crab.
There you go.
Well, you got to work horseshoe crab into one of your beer names eventually, right?
I'll have to figure it out. Yeah, I'll have to work it
so
out.
Trippy Souls is a sour ale with sour sop, orange, mango, and vanilla.
Nice.
The villain definitely plays. The orange is there. The mango's kind of hidden. That sour sop makes for a very trippy flavor. This tastes like one of Goya's nectars have gone bad, but almost in a good way.
There you go.
This is an interesting beer. Really not quite sure what to make out of it.
I got to be honest with you when it comes to Barrel Souls. Now, don't get me wrong. I love everything they do, including the sours.
They get weird sometimes.
They get really weird. And the very first time that I had any Barrel Souls was many years ago, not too long after they opened. And the barrel aging that they were doing was phenomenal. I mean, it was just amazing. And the barley wines and the...
Oh, funny thing, you should bring that up. Oh, we'll talk about that later.
All right. And the stouts and so forth and so on. And the barrels they were using, amazing. Of course, and my first experience with them was at Extreme Beer Fest, right?
Right, of course.
And then of course a couple of microbrew invitationals as well, and then going to the brewery. But in the last several years, actually, it's been a while at this point. They are totally
lost their minds.
Yeah, I mean, it's more about the sours than it is about the barrel aging. And it's both. I get it, but yeah, it's. And I know they're catering to a specific,
Well, let's put it. Superman Punch
right.
was such a popular beer They continue to brew that. It continues to sell out every time they make it. So why not explore at that particular vein of beers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there you have it. But yeah, I picked this one up because it seems so weird. And damn, it is weird. This one's. It's like a Jolly Rancher went wrong.
Really?
It's like, so if you remember when you were a kid, you'd go to the Slurpee machine and you just like keep adding all different flavors, and then you'd swear that the concoction you made tasted good.
Right.
But then you'd be like dumping it after about 3 sips.
Right.
I think that might be what happened here.
Could very well be.
There's some. They've gone to the Slurpee machine one too many times on this one. It is. Mm-hmm. This one's strange, but I give them kudos for the bravery and the as this is only once Augie would put it, the fuckery.
Right.
This is some serious fuckery going on here. So,
yeah.
I've got to say it because with Chuck on the show and Chuck commenting right now. Chuck, cheers, buddy. I have known Chuck almost as long as I think I've known Tom. Chuck is one of the OGs from the what is that beer page that we were all on at one point? And, Chuck knows at the time I was on the page as the Beer Samurai, rather than my real name. Beer Drinkers United, BDU. I believe you were
Beer Drinkers United. Yeah.
So I've known Chuck for quite a bit through the beer drinking world.
There you go.
So that ends my day 3.
All right.
Your day 3.
My day 3 was it finished with
finished with Trace.
No. We went to we did a few things. We went to never, as many times we've been to Pittsburgh, never went to the Heinz Museum. The couple we were with wanted to go, so we went.
You went to a ketchup museum?
No. Well, it was the Heinz History Museum. So it's a Pittsburgh History Museum.
So there's 57 and
Pittsburgh History Museum, not the ketchup.
Oh.
It was one section of the museum that was on ketchup, but no. And it was cool too because the original set of Mr. Rogers was actually in there, so that was kind of cool.
Oh, very cool.
And a bunch of other stuff and Smart and everything, but they did have the Western Pennsylvania Sports Museum was part of it. So they had a lot of older, Pittsburgh Pirates, and before that, the Pittsburgh Grays, right?
Right, the Grays,
and the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Penguins and everything else, and so forth and so on. So that was really cool to see all of that. Did find out that it was one gentleman years ago. I think it was in the teens or the 20s. Played for the Grays or the Pirates, and his name was Cumberland Posey.
Cumberland Posey. Not sure if he's related to Buster Posey by any means, but does he drink with the pinky out?
Cumberland Posey. So Cumberland, Cumberland Posey, right?
Okay.
And his nickname was the first 3 letters of his first name.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. So it was a simpler time then.
Interesting story.
There weren't as many warped minds out there.
On National Coming Out Day.
Exactly. So there you go. Whatchamacallit? Doug Smith just commented, Chuck is a legend in D.C., Virginia craft beer circles. He's been called the godfather of Virginia craft beer. And then
Chuck finds that funny.
LOL. There you go. So anyway, so we went there, walked around, went downtown a little bit, and then we ate over at Southern Tier. Southern Tier has a brewery in Pittsburgh. It's the Pittsburgh brewery or whatever.
And you had some Warlock while you were there.
I had Warlock. I did have Warlock while I was there. I mentioned that last week. I had Warlock. They actually had a few variants of Pumpkin. Variants that they
did they do a bourbon barrel aged version?
No. I've had a rum barrel aged version. It's actually very good, but
I can see that too.
It's called Rum King.
That's kind of derivative of
not Rumpkin. Rum King. Not Rumpkin, Rum King. Right. Anyway.
Rum King sounds less dirty than Rumpkin.
Pretty much. But in any event, they were out of a lot of the Pumpkins, because they had just had the Pitt, I believe it was West Virginia, or Pitt, West Virginia game Saturday night, and the Steelers Jets game on Sunday, and they're right like 2 blocks from the stadium, so they were out of a lot of shit. So, but mind you, they also have Victory and 6 Point on tap there because they're all they're all the same. They're all the same. Yeah, the parent company of Southern Tier.
You know what my favorite Southern Tier beer was?
What's that? Creme brulee.
God no. That thing is far too sweet for me. I need an insulin shot after drinking it. Thick Mint.
Thick Mint was very good. Thick Mint is definitely a good beer.
Thick Mint blew me away because it tastes exactly like a Thin Mint cookie.
Yep.
I was really surprised. I do not like, and John knows this because we've talked about our least favorite adjuncts in a beer, and one of my least favorite adjuncts in a beer is mint. Right. I don't like mint in my beers. Thick Mint surprised the hell out of me, and anytime that I see that comes out, I've got to grab some. It's got to grab me some Thick Mint. It's a beautiful beer. How's the food there at the Southern Tier?
Good. Pub food, tavern food, but like with a spin.
Is it elevated? Is it elevated pub grub?
Yes, it's elevated.
Like they like to say.
Elevated pub grub, right? Yeah, exactly.
So,
whatchamacallit. But yeah, and that pretty much does it. I mean, we went after that. We went to the Pirates Cardinals game, PNC.
Nice.
And we did have the dubious honor of
seeing Pujols
hit his 703rd and last regular season home run. Actually, last home run because he didn't hit any home runs in the wild card series, and they're out.
Yeah,
Pujols' last home run.
And John has the distinction of actually having filmed it,
and I filmed it too.
Because he posted it up to all of us. Because I think in our group someone had asked, I wonder if Pujols will get another home run tonight, and John goes, "Yes, here you go."
Well, I said I posted a picture of me at the stadium, and I said, I wonder if Pujols will smack a dinger tonight.
Yeah.
And Brian, and I'll call him out, because he's a producer, right?
No, he's lost the title.
He's lost the title, right?
He hasn't done dick on this show in about 5 months,
at least.
No, he's fired. He's fired
anyway. So he, whatchamacallit, he said, "I doubt it."
Yes.
And he commented that literally 5 minutes before he hit 703.
Yes.
So, and I filmed every time he came up to bat, I filmed it, right? So I had it. And then I posted that right back in there. This video says otherwise. All right. So you be wrong.
So I'm trying to get the taste of these trippy souls out of my mouth because it is a weird flavor. Mm-hmm. And I'm doing it with the last brewery that we went to. Because anytime you go up into New England, especially if you're up in the Northeast, mm-hmm. on your way back,
you stop
back to Jersey. Where do you always drive right past?
That would be Charlton, Massachusetts.
And what is there?
That would be Treehouse Brewing.
Treehouse Brewing. And so what I did is I picked up their Kolsch mm-hmm. because they are getting so good at the Pilsner Lager game right now. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, let's try the Kolsch because I've been under the misconception that no one in the U.S. can brew a Kolsch worth of shit. Mm-hmm. Because it's America, we like to throw hops in Kolsch's, which
of course
it does not.
A hoppy Kolsch does not an actual Kolsch make.
It is not a Kolsch. You have made a IPL. I'm sorry, a cold IPA. What's that bullshit? You've made a IPL with Kolsch yeast. That's all you've done. Mm-hmm. So no, I don't buy that. So either they put too many hops in it, or they've put too much flavor in it. All right, Kolsch is lightly flavored. It's lightly bodied. It's lightly colored, and this color is you can't. Right now, it's just the way the lighting is in this room. It's making it look darker than it is. But this has got an SRM of maybe 10. Mm-hmm. Right, so this is perfect color as far as I'm concerned for Kolsch. The only negative comment I would have about Outlier right now is that the grains give a bite, and No, maybe that's not the grains. I think that's the German hops. I think they've over-hopped it just a little bit. Now I think of it. Now that I'm really getting into it, I think they've over-hopped it just a little bit, not too much, but it's still crisp. It's still clean, but there's a little bit of a bite at the end of it. A Kolsch should not have a bite. Mm-hmm. You should be able to drink your Kolsch like water.
You should be able to.
Right. It's one of the beers that should be like water.
Agreed.
Right. But just an absolutely delicious, refreshing water.
It took an hour and a half, but Mr. Healy put up the first general order.
There it is.
There it is.
He went beyond seven.
So we'll just read it. To take charge of this post and there you go. That would be 7.
And fuck you, Dave.
You're an asshole. Yeah, to take charge of this post and fuck you, Dave. That actually makes sense. To take charge of this post and fuck you, Dave.
Fuck you, Dave.
There you go.
It's what it should be.
Good job,
cheers,
James.
Cheers, James. Semper Fi.
Cheers, Jim. There you go. All right. Anyway. All right. Well, that was your trip home.
Yeah.
We finished with that game. I already told you about our trip when we were coming back to Trace, and then we're back. So I think it's time for our top 3. What do you think?
Oh, we do have a top 3s tonight.
We do have a top 3 tonight.
So we still do them, even though it's just the two of us. We can. Oh, anyway.
What are you trying to say?
Just the two of us. So we're going to do. All right. So I took screenshots of my check-ins so that I would have this. Where are the screenshots? Let me get down there. Okay. Yep. Here we go. So one of the beers has already been mentioned on the show, and that would be the lager at Sacred Profane.
Well, let's put it up. Our top 3.
Oh tonight. yes, we didn't even announce what
top 3 beers. Top 3 beers we had on our trips.
And I can guarantee you, for a change, John and I will not have duplicates.
Not at all.
We will have no duplicates whatsoever. Because usually we won't have duplicates because we have to talk ahead of time as to you get this, I get that, we get this. Sure. So, but this one there was no need to do that because obviously we're in 2 completely different places on the planet. Mm-hmm. Well, in the country as well, not too far from each other, technically. I'm going to go. So my first one's going to have an A and B, and those are the 2 beers at Sacred Profane.
Is this your 3?
Is this? No, there's no order here.
Okay.
There's no order here. I can't put them in order because we're talking about 3 entirely different beers.
What were the names of the beers?
Sacred Profane Dark Lager, Sacred Profane Light Lager.
Dark Lager and Light Lager. Okay.
Yeah, like you said, it's reminiscent of McSorley's, right?
Right. Oh yeah, that's right.
Dark ale, light ale, and saltines, onions, cheese, liverwurst sandwich. Of course.
Liverwurst sandwich for myself, right?
Yes. Eating at McSorley's. I remember the last time I was at McSorley's. I was there watching the Yankees retire Jeter's number.
There you go.
Yeah. Anyway, but that's the 3-ish, I guess. I don't know, no order, but there. There is a honorable mention outside of there, and that is at Vulgar. They've got an IP there called Mr. Balloon Hands. It is a West Coast style, and it's something that'll bring you back to the early days where Stone was throwing out those West Coast lagers before.
Stone was throwing stones.
They were throwing stones. Yeah. I don't live in a glass house.
Yeah.
Though there's a lot of windows here. There's a lot of concrete as well.
And who is that by, Mr. Balloon?
That's Vulgar.
Vulgar, yeah.
Mr. Balloon Hands. And hopefully we can get them on the show because they've got a really, really cool thing they got going there. So we're going to get to 2 and 1, even like I said. So if you know Hill Farmstead, you know their porter, Everett. Mm-hmm. They had a barrel age version on while I was there.
Okay.
This thing was so smooth, you could not taste the ABV of this whatsoever. It was a dangerous, dangerous beer. I'm trying to click on it, but it's my screenshot. It's not tap to get the ABV for it. It's it's kind of on the higher end for a porter, but because it's an imperial double porter.
Nice.
But even though it's barrel aged, you would expect the barrel to kind of really take over and knock the porter down a little bit. It doesn't whatsoever. All it does is enhance it.
Nice.
The roasts are still the prevalent flavor in this beer.
Nice.
So they did a beautiful job restraining the barrel aging on it. But I gotta say, probably the favorite thing I put in my face on this trip was a barreled souls.
All right, hold on. Now you've mentioned 4 beers so far, and you're only at number 1 now.
I've mentioned 5. This is my 5th beer I'm going to mention. Yes.
So number 3.
So 3 was A and B. Those were the Sticker Profane beers.
And Mr. Balloon Hands was an honorable mention.
It was an honorable mention.
All right.
Barrel aged favorite was probably number 2.
All right.
If not 3, I don't know. The Sticker Profane I may put it 2, A, B, and
anyway.
Like I said, it's hard to put them in order. Except the number 1. The number 1's pretty damn clear.
Go ahead.
This beer really. So John has experienced. A lot of people who have drank with me experiences. A lot of times I'll drink a beer and I'll just be, I don't enjoy the beer. But there's times, and John, you've seen this face, where I've gone, and you get that smile, a beer that just really has delivered something for you that puts that smile on your face. And Barton Bourbon Blonde, on Blonde, which is a barrel-aged barley wine. This beer was fantastic. It had all the leather that you expect and want from a barley wine. You had light brown sugar notes in this. There was bourbon flavor in it from the barrel. There was a touch of vanilla to it. This was a very well-balanced. This had, the ABV on this thing was through. I think this thing was close to a 16.
Lovely.
It was beautiful. This is probably why I bought this shirt and this color. The keys were handed over to Carrie. Carrie drove back to the Airbnb that day, and I pretty much was in and out of consciousness the whole ride back. I forgot, on the way out, we did hit another. There was another brewery we hit. I forgot. It was a brewery and a bakery, and their donuts were fantastic. What was the name of that one? Oh, my God. They've got like a fly fishing lure as their logo. I have to remember that one. But the beers were good, but you go there for the
donuts.
The donuts. Oh, my
Absolutely.
God. They're crawlers, and they're those light, airy, round crawlers.
Mm-hmm.
And they just flavor the top.
The French crawlers, but
they were dark French crawlers.
All right, fair enough.
Very good. I remember the name of that one.
Before I get to mine, Jim just said, "Cheers, gents." I want to get that up there. So, cheers, Jim.
Cheers, Jim.
All right.
You got to change. You got to change your profile picture. You've lost some weight since that profile picture was taken.
Right, but there's a reason he keeps that up there.
To remind him.
No.
As a goal, or
no. You see the window behind him?
Yes.
That window doesn't exist anymore.
Is that your house?
That's my old house. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, so. Let it go, Jim. Let it go.
Well, I don't know. Anyway.
John has.
Anyway. All right, my 3. Here we go. I'll give you an honorable mention only because I have to, because I just love the beer so much. And that would be London Crawling from Chris.
I was going to say, if London Crawling's not on this list.
Yeah, no, I have to. But I had the beer on the trip, but I've had it so many times before. I've drank it on the show before.
But you had it on the trip, so yeah,
it's on the trip. So it's an honorable mention. There you go. Number 3 is that Schwartz from 4 Points, the dark lager, the Schwartz beer.
Cold Schwartz.
Cold Schwartz. Yeah. Number 2 is the Nobody's Robot. That's from Dancing Gnome on their 6th anniversary. It's triple hopped with Nelson, Citra, and Melba.
Speaking of triple, one of the beers I brought back, to tell you how much I friggin' had to drink in Barrel Souls.
Uh-huh.
One of the beers I brought back from Barrel Souls is a triple IPA.
This isn't a triple IPA. This is
I know it's not, but you said triple.
Triple hopped.
Triple hopped. But
triple dry hop, double IPA.
But have you known me to drink a lot of triple IPAs?
No.
Not one of my favorite styles. Much. I think I bought it because of the name.
I'm waiting.
Which I've completely forgotten.
There you go.
Oh, it's called Smell You Later.
Smell you later. Smell you later. All right.
So any reference to Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. And my number one, as if you couldn't guess, when I talked about it 3 times so far on this show, and I talked about it last week, the Fooder Schwartz beer from Trace Brewing right here.
I'm not at all surprised.
Yeah. And what's funny is because I typed it in earlier on my list here, and I put Fooder Schwartz beer because that's the name of it. It's Fooder Schwartz beer, and spell check changed it to Forder. So obviously, spell check wanted Tony Forder to get credit for this beer, and not the Fooder in which Trace fermented it in. So
there's someone else we need to get back on the show.
And Fooder, there we go.
You got it.
There, we changed it. There we go. All right, cool. So that's my list. There you go. Easy peasy.
Before we leave, Coastal Brewworks has released a new beer in collaboration with Brick City.
Yes, we have. Coastal Brewworks and Brick City, we collaborated a few weeks ago, and it got released last Thursday, the 6th. And Matt and I were actually at the brewery on the 7th for a few hours. It's an 8% double New England called Turning of the Tide. And
it's available at Brick City Brewing?
It's available at Brick City and in stores and bars.
All the places that you find your Coastal Brewworks.
Regular big batch of beer. It wasn't small, just for releasing the brewery.
Or is it where you normally find your Coastal Brewworks or where you normally find Bricks?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, it's in both. Nice. So hold on.
I got to go look for that.
Another comment here. James, sentimental, bad picture, but sentimental. There you go. And
understood.
Chuck said, "Thanks, guys. Enjoyed it." Thank you, Chuck. Appreciate it.
Chuck, it's been a long time since we've interacted. Great to hear from you.
Great to hear from you too. Again, check out Turning a Tide. It's fantastic. It's Citra, Mosaic, and Trident hops that we used in this beer.
Trident. Being Coastal Brewworks, I think you should put Trident in everything.
You would think.
Right? It works.
Putting Trident hops in a porter might not.
So what is the characteristics of Trident hops?
Well, Trident hops are a blend, right? They're the only one that the hop farm has that blended the hops to begin with has kind of released. That is one of them is Citra. So there's a little extra Citra in the beer, but everything else is
so what you're saying is Trident is not actually a hop. It's a hop blend of a bunch of different hops rather than being.
It's a hop. It's an actual hop.
Okay, so it's not really a blend. It's a what do they call that? Like where you take two different things, turn into one thing, and biological world, it is a hybrid.
It's a hybrid.
There we go. That's the word.
It's a hybrid. But you're gonna get tropical citrus notes. You're gonna get passion fruit. You're gonna get mango, guava, a little bit of berry, even. So it's
what kind of berry? Like schnozberry?
Like schnozberries. Yep, you're gonna get some schnozberries. No dingleberries in this whatsoever.
Oh, no dingleberries.
None whatsoever. No, but you're gonna get a little bit of berry in it. It's a really tasty beer. It's really tasty beer. Go out there.
I hear Klingons like dingleberries.
I heard that too, but there's not a lot of Klingons that are looking right
now.
And
yesterday was Federation Day, by the way.
It was. Yeah. It was. So anyway.
So to all you Trekkies or Trekkers, whatever you call yourself, live long and prosper.
Live long and prosper. There you go. And you could do it with the other hand too, right?
You do it with both hands.
And then you could,
especially if you're doing it over Nanu. There's also that.
No, that's Nanu.
It's Nanu.
That right? That's the two in the middle and then off to the side,
or something like that. But you do that. Nimoy got that over that. They would do that over the Torah, right? That he saw that he was looking up when he was supposed to when he was at temple, and they would take their hands. They do that over the Torah. So he used that as the live long and prosper.
Leonard Nimoy. He used.
Yeah, I said Nimoy. Yeah.
Okay. I didn't. I know. I'm sure you did. I didn't hear it.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, that's where he took it from because he'd be in temple. Because Nimoy is Jewish, and you're not supposed to look when they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, and he looked, and that's what they're doing over the Torah, and he took that and immortalized it.
Live long and prosper.
Yep.
There you go. All right. I think we're good. What do you think?
We're mediocre.
Yeah, we're mediocre, but for tonight, we're good.
Well, we're at an end.
What an end. So anyway, on that note, we will wrap the show for today. I want to thank everybody for watching, and for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thank you for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.lagerroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, and our Instagram, and our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Lager Room. Remember, we go live with a video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday night around 6:30 p.m. Eastern
Actually,
time.
and the only reason we didn't hit 6:30 today, because I did not expect John to be ready at 6:30, so I wasn't ready.
It ain't me.
It wasn't him tonight, for a change, and because I had actually scheduled the pizza to be delivered at 6:30.
There you go.
And when was it delivered?
6:33.
Right at 6:30. No, pretty much right at 6:31, 6:32.
So anyway. For those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcasts, and iHeartRadio as well. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds. Don't listen to Dave burping. Subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you'll never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly. And we will talk to you soon, folks. Take care. Cheers.
I think I need another beer.
I think you do.
You need another beer?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Arrivederci. Goodbye.